Right, okay.
Right, you're live. Okay.
We are live. So good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching this. My name's Ashley Leeds, and I'm here today.
Ashley, we're going to have some people coming on. You know that, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
So you're not let them in yet, then?
I'm not sure where they are yet. I think they don't come until 11. But we could just try to record this and then run this thing.
Okay.
How the hell do you record in this thing? Good question.
Surely there'll be a recording at the end. You'll be able to download it, won't you?
Yeah, but I thought that you have to press record somewhere. No,
I don't. When I do a live, when I'm using StreamYard, there's no. What are we using? Webinar Jam.
Yeah. Let me find out as well. All right, we'll automatically record the live broadcast.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't. Oh, so we don't need to worry then. We just have to cut this bit later on.
Yes.
Right, webinar duration. Why is he telling me it's 1 minute 32 seconds?
That's how long we've been recording. That's how long we've been on.
That's how long we've been on. And I'm trying to think, hang on, is he like counting down? And I'm going, you're going to cut us off in about 30 seconds or something. Yeah, so we are hoping to get quite a few numbers. So there's about 50 of us that's registered.
Nice.
So, and then we'll record it and send it live. Yeah, 53 altogether.
Nice. So they'll all be joining at 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a bit anxious about these things. Trying to join at 11 and then something happened and you don't join at 11 and then you realize that, hang on a minute, where am I supposed to be?
Yeah.
So, anyway. How you been? Good? How is Devon? Is the weather terrible there? Or?
Well, I've just had a wedding.
How was it?
My daughter got married at the weekend.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah, it was incredible. The weather was absolutely stunning all week. It was in a marquee, so it was setting it all up, and it was stunning. And every time we looked at the weather app, it's going to rain on Saturday, and it absolutely lashed it down on Saturday. And do you know what? That made the wedding.
Yeah,
because everybody
stayed in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would have walked out.
Ian can see us. Hello, Ian. We're just having a little chat before we start. So, do you know Ian?
Yes.
Umesh?
So yeah, we've got Ian, we've got Joanne, Joe, Anna, Olukunle.
Fantastic. So if anyone's got any questions, put them in the chat, and we'll get to those later. Because this webinar is for you guys, and we want to know how we can help you.
So yeah, don't hesitate to ask questions. No stupid question.
I say that all the time, because I think the thing is, right, I just sat there and you go, oh, I just want to ask, but it might be a silly question. But the thing is, everybody else is thinking exactly the same thing. And then when you ask, you turn around and go, oh, is it red or is it blue? All right. And then everybody else in the audience goes, oh, thank goodness he's asked that, because I was too afraid to ask. Yeah. I've never been to a presentation or a webinar or a show where someone's asked a question, the presenters turn around and go, that's a stupid question, isn't it? Yeah, no one ever does that.
No.
No one ever does that because it's rude. And all we want to do is we want to help people to understand more of what it is we're talking about. So if you do have any questions, please, please, please write them down and let us know, because we don't know what you don't know. And that's the thing.
Shall we start? I'll give it a few more minutes.
No, we start at 11 o'clock because, if you've set your timer to be here at 11 o'clock, we should start at 11 o'clock. If you're trying to log in and you miss the first little bit, then you can watch the recording. So no, we're going to start. So good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name's Ashley Leeds. I'm the 15-minute guy, and I've been working with accountants for the last 16 years, working for QuickBooks, working for Thomson Reuters, and working for other companies and helping accountants to grow their practice. And I've been asked by Umesh today to come and grill him. And I'm going to grill him about MIT and about AI and about how he can help other accountants and bookkeepers. So the very first thing, Umesh, is tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yes, so my name is Umesh Soba. I'm the CEO of MIT. We are an AI-powered accounting software. The idea is to make it easy for accountants and bookkeepers to keep records and to do their bookkeepings, making sure they do all the compliance work as easily, as accurately as possible.
Okay, so I don't know if you've heard, Umesh, there's a couple of other software packages out there for accountants and bookkeepers that do bookkeeping, such as Xero, and I've already mentioned QuickBooks because I used to work there. So why on earth would an accountant create his own bookkeeping software?
I think it's because there's been a shortage in the small market category. So the one-man band, they've been left behind. Most of the packages are mostly for the higher. You have 4 or 5 employees and all that kind of things, but the one-man band has been left behind, and we sorted out, because of MTD, we created our own package for the micro and small businesses. So the micro and small businesses support about 99% of the entire businesses in the UK. The 1%, obviously, is a large number of them, but is not as big as the micro and the small. So we're trying to cater for those small and micro businesses and trying to help them to keep their compliance and help them with their taxes and VAT returns and bookkeeping by using the technology like AI to extract data from their invoices, automated kind of accounts mapping. We also do bank reconciliation, whereby you can get all the information from open banking. So we are trying to evolve the entire process so that the accountant doesn't have to do many more bookkeeping work, or the bookkeeper doesn't have to do bookkeeping work. It just kind of automate for them. They will have spend more time to do add-on value work, do more kind of interesting work, talking to their client more, finding more about their clients, rather than standing out and doing the nitty-gritty of bookkeeping, which is just putting your head down and working on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? And there's an awful lot of businesses like mine. Here I am in my shed, working from home. Do I need the world's biggest accounting package to do the few transactions that I do? The answer is definitely a no. Until you've built a solution that's going to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is, you could use it with an Excel spreadsheet, but then you have to carry it around. You could put it on Dropbox, but then again, you might lose some information. So the idea is to have a one-stop shop where you can keep your receipt, you can keep your bookkeeping, you can keep your compliance work, you can keep your VAT returns, your accounts, and we are moving into accounts production within the package, so you can actually file to Companies House from the package itself. So it's going to be a one-stop shop for small and micro businesses that will come in, no audit required, just file it to Companies House and HMRC.
Okay, so you're an accountant. You've got a successful accountancy practice with a number of clients and things like that. So rather than pay all the money to the software giants, you've created your own.
Yes.
And so basically, we know it works because you're using it day in, day out. Your clients are using it day in, day out. And I guess then, if you want it to do something, you just talk to your developers and you can get it to do it. Is that right?
That's right. And every time we have new ideas or customers coming with new suggestions, say, look, we want this, or we want this extra thing. It's like one of our clients is an accountant. He said to me, look, I want to employ a bookkeeper who wants to do the work for us, but I don't want him to have access to all my clients. So we've kind of created a system where you can actually choose who you give access to and when they can access it. So you kind of have more control over what you do. Not everyone will see all your client list. So it's kind of in one-stop shop for you to manage your bookkeeper. You can associate to other people and give them access to what they want, remove the access whenever you want. So it gives you a lot of flexibility plus control over what you're doing.
No, absolutely fantastic. So how are you using AI in the package? Because we hear all about AI. First of all, just as an overview, and let's address Ian's question. What's the best way to get started with AI? He's saying he's afraid to dip his toes in the water.
So a lot of things have AI nowadays, but most of them are not really AI. They are more machine learning. So basically, you teach a machine to read an invoice. The machine will read the invoice accurately, better than most people would do, and input it into the system, again, without errors and very accurately. So the entire concept of AI evolved from the machine learning part, where you teach the machine to do things, and the machine now started thinking for itself. And then you have like ChatGPT, which is a large language model, which basically start having a lot of data, and you can actually just ask questions, and then he will start thinking for itself and then give you the answer for itself. So it's not like a pre-written answer. I presume you've been on those websites where they ask you question, have you got a problem with that? Choose from these different options. ChatGPT doesn't give you that. So you will ask the question, he will think about what more accurate for you, and it will give you the answer. But no two answers are the same. So the next time you ask the same question, you get a totally different answer, depending what kind of information you're inputting to them. So that's where the element of AI come in, because of the large language model. 20 years ago, people were trying to do AI to kind of recognize pictures. But obviously, we didn't have the capacity in terms of hard drive, software, hardware, memory, etc., to do that. Nowadays, we have all of that. So, and I think that's even not enough. So it's going to get even better when technology gets better. So that's how, which I will demonstrate in a minute about ChatGPT and also TaxGPT, which is a new thing that's coming out.
Hang on, TaxGPT. Now you're blowing my mind. We'll come to that. So you said 20 years ago, okay, the computers were rubbish. Nowadays, we've got a mobile phone. I don't know how much capacity is in a mobile phone, but what they can do is absolutely incredible. So we're now opening up all kinds of doors that we can use artificial intelligence for. So that's absolutely incredible. For simple terms, how is AI utilized in your bookkeeping package? Because a lot of our audience may not be aware of artificial intelligence. So how is it working in your
So what we do is, so when people get an invoice, they take a picture of that invoice. That invoice gets extracted through an OCR system, which is optical character recognition. And then the AI trying to work out what is what from that invoice. Because once you read an invoice, it's 0 and 1 for the computer. They don't understand what is what. A number is just a number.
Yes.
But then you train the system to say, this is a VAT number, this is a net, this is a total, this is a description, this is the date, this is a supplier name. So you kind of do a lot of testing and kind of include a lot of information to it. And then you eventually get the package of then it feed you this information to say, this is the date, this is the supplier name, etc., etc. So that's how the system would work it out. But I think that's even a very outdated system, because that's kind of been going on for many years. And now the system is getting even better, so that you can actually teach them even more to actually not just post it onto your bookkeeping, but also reconcile it with your bank once your bank feed come through automatically. So that's the next step of what we need to do, because we have the capacity to do it. We're just, been concentrating on other things rather than these kind of things.
Yeah, and that's the beauty, isn't it? So you're using AI is like using an apprentice. So we take on an apprentice, we sit them down, and you go, this means this means that, and then it's like, oh, I'm stuck. Can you tell me about this? And it's exactly the same sort of thing. But I'm taking it, the AI apprentice is learning an awful lot quicker than a normal apprentice.
Yes. Yeah. So if I can show a demo, I'll share.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes, please.
Right. So we'll share our screen. Just let us know if you cannot see it. So this is ChatGPT. Can you see my screen?
We certainly can.
Right. So if you ask ChatGPT,
just a sec. Can I just pause a second? If you've you've used ChatGPT, anybody watching, can you just put in the chat box, yes, I've seen it, and if you haven't, no, this is new to me, something like that in the chat box, because this is interesting, because I talk to people about this all the time. I was at a wedding at the weekend and talking to people about what I do, and some people it's like, oh my goodness, that's amazing, and other people it just went over their head. So come on, ChatGPT, this is free.
Well, yeah, there's a free version. Obviously, we paid subscription on it, so we have a subscription version, because we want to do more than just our normal stuff. So we, as you could see on the left hand side, we've done a lot of pitches, sponsorship requests, all the different things. We write through it. You can see we go on and on for months and months and months.
I don't know if you can see the chat there, but a lot of people are saying they're using it, but an awful lot of people are sort of like, oh my goodness, never seen it before. So this is fantastic. So come on, let's have a demonstration then.
Right. So we go back to it. Right. So for instance, let's say if I would like to write a business plan for an accounting.
So no need to speak as you're talking, because I'll talk over you while you're writing that. So basically, what Umesh is doing now, he's putting what we call a prompt into ChatGPT, and the better the prompt, the better it's able to come up with the information. And what you can do is, once he's finished all of this, he can go in and then sort of like say, well, actually, I want you to do this. I want you to do that.
Yeah. So we're prompting more as we go along. So now we've got an overview. So we've got a start thing. So what we do, we copy and paste it into our Word document, right? So we've got like a starting block. And then we're going to say, okay, let's carry on with the executive summary. So then you just copy and paste it, and then you build on as you go along. So this is that. And then the next question you ask is, you actually prompt it from his own conversation. He says, look, you copy that, and then you put it back again. And he says,
this is just like my grandson. My grandson will turn around to me and goes, what is this? And I'll turn around and I'll explain it, and then he'll go, why? And so, yes. So basically we're just asking another question.
Please expand the overview of an accounting. So you change a few words on it so that you don't confuse it. Business plan. This should highlight key points, etc. And then you let him do his work. So then you come up with all the different things for you. And you can, elaborate, go on and on and on and on as much as you want until you come to what you need.
So, while you're doing that, full disclosure, I had a wedding speech to do at the weekend. It was my daughter's wedding. And so I went into ChatGPT. No, I didn't ask it to write the speech for me. But I said to ChatGPT, I am going to be giving a wedding speech. I'm going to be the father of the bride. What sort of things should I include in my wedding speech? And so that gave me a framework to actually start.
Yes.
And that's the beauty. I didn't, no way ChatGPT knows about the relationship I have with my daughter and the relationship she has with her husband, but it does know the sort of things that you should be talking about, and you can use it in that sort of way.
Yes, and that is the point for the entire concept is, you use it for that. So you get the information, then you build your own. So the question was our webinar is, are you worried or should you be worried? Is no, because if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out, and whatever you put in, that's the best thing you're going to get out. So even with ChatGPT, with a simple question, if you don't ask the right question, you're going to get the wrong answer. So if we follow on this conversation, so then you could decide, you want to carry on and you expand, etc. You do other things. Or a very simple way of using ChatGPT is to write a letter the more information you provide, the better outcome you will get.
Yep.
So then you get the letter to HMRC. Obviously, you copy and paste it, top and tail it, and then you send it.
How easy is that to do?
So that will take what, less than a minute?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
these are the kind of technology. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We did a business plan with it where we put the information on ChatGPT, and then we tell them to describe the information, and then describe the entire income and expenses and the projection and everything. So this is how far as you can take it, because it's really, really useful in that sense. The more data you give, the more information you get from it. So this is kind of, the tip of the iceberg in terms of what you can do with it. You could do almost anything with it.
And the thing is here, Umesh, it's a bit like what you need to do is you need to play with it, you need to experiment with it and see how far it can go. And it's like getting a brand new car. Okay,
Yes.
so you get the brand new car, you drive it from the showroom at about 10 miles an hour because you don't want to scratch it, you don't want to hit anybody, and it's got all these new buttons on it. But after a week or so, you're probably doing 20 or 30. After a couple more weeks, you're doing a little bit more. You might be taking it round bends a little bit faster than you're used to. You're filling up the boot. You find that it's got automatic washers and stuff like that. And you just try all these. Oh, I wonder what this button does. And you just try all these different things. And that's exactly the same with AI, especially ChatGPT. You just develop with it all the time. So we've got a question from James.
Yeah.
And he's saying, are you aware of what Pixie is doing with AI and their practice management software? So have you looked at that?
No, I haven't looked at that, but I will definitely be looking into that now to find out what they're doing. Because what we've been considering is more about not practice management software, more about the kind of the tax part of it, which is the compliance part of it. So if I share my screen again, now this time we're going to show you Tax GPT, but now this is on Mighty own system. So this is not on.
So you're using the ChatGPT engine within your software to do
right.
this?
Yeah. So we are using. So here you could have what we call a ChatGPT version. So, but it's all based on accounting. So how to post a journal for directors.
So this is your software.
This is my software. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm using it, and I've got a question. I just go in here, and it's AI powered answers rather than automatically just like a help file.
Yeah, so it will tell you how to post a journal, for example.
Now, this is incredible because when I used to work in the software industry, I used to know the developers, and I'm very friendly. In fact, he lives just down the road. With the guy that wrote all the help files, and he would spend hours and hours and hours doing screenshots of each individual tab and things as they came up, and writing detailed instructions, etc., etc. And so, you want to go and find out how to input a trial balance.
Yeah,
you'd have to put in intro and then search through the help files. Basically, this is just telling you from however you speak.
Yeah, and this is basically, you've got a problem, you ask a question, and they give you that. So that's the kind of our own Chat GPT version, but our own Tax GPT version. So this is the new version that we're creating, which is called a Tax GPT. Basically, you just, for example, we give him a tax table from ATT.
Yep.
So this is a normal tax table. I'll show you the tax table once it's imported. So that's a normal tax table from ATT.
It's nice bedtime reading there.
Exactly. Well, you could, if you want to read that, but if you don't want to read, you can just ask the question. So, what is the personal allowance for income tax? Now, sometimes it will tell you the wrong answer, sometimes it will tell you the right answer. It depends how you ask the question. So, for example, what is CGT? You wouldn't know what's CGT because he doesn't have the context. Because the context I've given him is only about capital gain tax. So, but if you can find out things on it, it will tell you what you can find out. So anything that's come into the system, it will tell you what it is. Because here we have CGT, and therefore we can tell you about CGT. Here we go. Where's CGT gone? Here we go. So he knows about CGT because we've told him that. So
Yep.
so he will, so what's the annual exempt allowance?
And I take it that you've imported all kinds of tax tables within.
Yeah, we've tried various things. Allowance for CGT, and it will tell you. Now, if you ask, so this is where we accountants need to learn how to use it. So, for example, I earned £20,000 for tax year 22-23. How much tax will I pay? Just this is the one version of it. You will just tell you, right? That's because I missed something on purpose, just to show. So this is just telling you, like, there's a starting rate for savings and all the different things, because that's the only information he's got. He doesn't have any other information.
Okay. So Rita's just asked what software is this? This is MyT.
Yeah.
Rita, this is the software that Umesh has built for his accountancy practice, and it's now available for everybody else. And what they've done is they've got an AI chat GPT interface so that you don't have to go anywhere else to ask all of these questions. Is that right, Umesh?
And basically, you see, so now I've asked the wrong question, how much tax I will pay, it just gives you the information. Whereas if I ask, I earned £20,000 for the tax year 22-23, calculate my tax taking my personal allowance into consideration. So then it will go and work it out for you. See, he doesn't understand the personal allowance consideration. You see?
Okay.
All I didn't say personal allowance for income tax. So this is where you have to be very careful with the system.
And this is a bit like asking someone in the street, excuse me, what's the best way to get to the cinema? The best way to get to the cinema would be a limousine.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, well, no, actually, what I meant was, can you give me directions? And you have to ask clear questions. And sometimes, because we're thinking, we need to think outside the box sometimes when we give prompts to artificial intelligence, because it doesn't think like we do. It thinks laterally.
Yeah.
So sometimes you ask a question, it doesn't come back with the right answer. So ask the question in a different way. So think of my grandson.
See, now you're telling me the same thing again. So because he's not getting the information I'm trying to get him. So a lot of it is to do with what the question you ask. Even though you provide a certain information, but it doesn't give you that right information. But with time, obviously these models will be trained and get better, and you will be able to give them the right information. But the context is all about the CGT and everything else. So I can ask him another question about what is the corporation tax threshold, So he will tell you the answer that he's got. Well, in this case, he cannot see it. So let me see why he cannot see it. Probably a technical error here. Let's try again. Right, let's try again. What is a corporation tax rate for 2022?
So this software is also available on an app, so that your small business owners can
this software is available on an app, but it's not available for this kind of tax GPT is not available on it at the moment. So you see, once you ask the right question, you get the right answers.
Yeah.
So and it's all about asking the right question, and that's where I think accountants will earn their living in a different way by asking the right question, because it would help them to kind of get this information accurately to the system, and the system will provide that. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The system is not perfect yet, but nobody is perfect. But we're going to get to the level where we can actually say to the system, we can feed him the entire VAT notices and said, look, give me the answer for this particular scenario, and they will go back and fall and give it back to you. So a lot of it need a lot of training, but this is a very infant technology, this tax GPT, because remember, I don't know how many people remember these books, but all of these will be in the software one day, and all you have to do is just ask the question. So you won't even have
rather
to
than thumbing through, finding the index and goodness knows what else. So many accountants and bookkeepers are accustomed to using database software or maybe even manual ledgers. How easy is it for them to transition to your AI-powered bookkeeping solution, and what advantage does it offer over traditional methods?
I mean, it helped them with time. So basically, they will help to get information from their client. One of the biggest issues has always been, as an accountant, I know that myself, is getting information from client. So as soon as the client will take a picture of the receipt, it will be easier for this. This is automatically going to the system, automatically get processed, automatically get inputted in the ledger. So you don't have to do anything. So, this is as easy. Regarding past data, we can always import it and help them to onboard their clients and themselves as an accountant and move it forward.
Okay, so here's a question. Data security is significant concern when it comes to adopting new technology. How does MyT ensure the security and privacy of sensitive financial information?
So we have end-to-end encryption from our app to the platform, and then on the platform, when you log in, it's all encrypted. It's all HTTPS, which is basically secured URL. We also have two-factor authentication code. So when you log in, you're always going to get an OTP to your phone. It's like logging into your bank. So that's how secure your data is, and all our data are kept in the UK by the Azure server. So it's all UK based. So none of our data are outside the UK. So people can rest assured that it's Azure.
Fantastic. So here's one, right? If I use Xero or QuickBooks, it's Xero or QuickBooks. But if I use your system, you're an accountant. Aren't you going to steal all my clients?
No, because the system is separate from what we do. So this is kind of not Chinese wall, but at the end of the day, we don't deal with your client. It's your client. You deal with them. We will help you to onboard them. We'll explain to you how to put it. We don't have any details about your client, except that if the client is allowed us to kind of give them newsletters and things like that, then we will give it to them. But that's just their email. So we don't have any contact with the client unless they come to us and say, look, we need support. Can you help us? But normally they will go to the accountant and say, look, I need support. Can you help us? And then the accountant will come to me and say, Umesh, can you provide me with X, Y, and Z? And which we do. And then the client will. So it's your client. We don't have any access to them, even though we have their data. But for all the privacy law and everything else, we can't just take it and say, look, we're going to call Ashley now. Ashley, would you like to come to Umesh as a client? Because that wouldn't work. That's the entire business model will fail.
Absolutely. But I was just being cheeky. Accuracy is crucial in bookkeeping. Okay, especially when AI is involved. So how does MyT handle complex transactions to ensure precise results?
I mean, there is no complex transaction. I mean, to be honest, look at its simplicity. There's 5 things we look for. It's the date of the invoice, supplier name, the VAT, the net, and the total. So there is no complexity beyond that, because we tried. That's why we said, for a small business, it's very useful because you use these 5 elements, right? You know the date, you know the supplier. Once you know the supplier, you would know which account it will go in. We will put the invoice number as well for security purposes, just to make sure there's no duplicates. And then you have the net and the VAT and the VAT. So these 6 items, it's very easy to use. So the complexity only comes when people are on zero because they want to do line by line item. That's become complexity. But we are not trying to do that, because I think this is not what our purpose is for.
Can you share some real life examples or some case studies of how AI has significantly improved bookkeeping efficiency for accountants and bookkeepers?
Yeah, I mean, we use it ourselves. We've kind of nowadays we have clients that would send us information on tonight, and then by tomorrow afternoon, we will have the VAT return checked and sorted out. So the turnaround, it just got so much faster. Before it would take you a week, you have to ask the client for a week, and then they give it to you. Clients has been lazy anyway to give information. Most accountants will agree with me on that. To get the information out of them, it's like getting blood out of a stone. But it will be so much easier. Even if they give it to you late, you just upload it, scan it, upload it into the system. Overnight, it will process, get everything sorted out, including the right ledger. Then you have your VAT return sorted within hours, rather than days. So that's how, and then, plus the accuracy that we have, because it's about 95% accurate in terms of, when we say 95% accurate, is 95% of the time, it will select all the 6 items that we talked about. So the date, the supplier name, the invoice number. But most of the time with small invoices, it doesn't pick up the invoice number because there is no invoice number in a small invoice. So then we have to go and look at it and say, okay, this is an invoice. Again, we look at the invoice. We don't look at the client. We don't look at the accountant. We just look at an invoice and say, okay, what's the problem? Why the system is not learning it? Why the system doesn't understand it? And then we teach the system again, if there is no invoice, do this. If there is no invoice number, do that.
Okay, cool. Ian's just asked, can Mighty collect data by project code?
No, we don't. As I said, it's a small thing. We don't do project system. We just do basic bookkeeping, which is basically invoices, income, expenses.
Okay. And what about dealing, it's a question from Yuba. What about dealing in invoices in foreign currency, for example, euros or US dollars?
This is something we're working on at the moment. So the entire thing was based on UK pound sterling. So now we've got more, people asking for those things. So we're working on a basis of how do we do the exchange rate, etc. Because that's where the problem is. It's not about doing the system to do the exchange. It's more about the exchange rate. How do you get the right exchange rate for the day or on the invoice to match what's happening on GDP?
Perfect. Okay. With the rise of AI and automation, people are fearing that it's going to replace humans and take jobs and stuff like that. How do you see AI complementing the work of accountants and bookkeepers rather than replacing them?
I think it will enhance their work. It will improve their work. Like I've just shown you earlier, to write a letter to HMRC takes about, not even 20 seconds. You just say, write a letter, it will write the letter for you. To find some information with a tax GPT the one that we're just trying out. This is, as I said, a very early stage, but you will have the entire book in there. If you want a question, you just ask the question, you will get the answer. So it will save you a lot of time having to go fiddle through books, search on Google, look for this, and then read it, and then find out. Whereas you can ask the system, and the system will tell you, we think this is the answer. And then you can ask the system, why do you think this is the answer? And it will explain to you why do you think this is the answer. So that's how good the system will come when they get 100%. And obviously, this is a very kind of what we call a baby system at the moment. ChatGPT is very good because it's been running for so many years and have so much data. Tax GPT not so good because it doesn't have enough data. It doesn't have enough information. So we need to provide it with all the books, like I've just showed you behind me. That's when it will become very clever and intelligent, and it will have all the knowledge at the how do you say it? At the tip of your finger.
Absolutely. So for accountants and bookkeepers who are considering adopting AI technology, what advice do you have for them to make a smooth transition and fully utilize the potential of your bookkeeping package?
So they could start with the Mighty software is very easy to use. So they could start with a client, get them to use it, take pictures, see how that system works for them. They can import CSV file from the bank statements. If the client doesn't want to do open banking, they can import. So for instance, if you have a client who's got like a estate agent who's got their own system, they've got their own package and they do their sales ledger there, you can just import it as a CSV file and import it onto Mighty. So there's loads of ways of you can actually just introduce yourself to the system, and then slowly you will see the benefit of it, because the amount of time it will save you, the amount of time it will help you to go and get more clients or to provide more better services to the client or have more relaxing time. You could decide, I've got enough clients, which most people do, and said, look, I just want to kind of carry on, and I want to kind of spend less time doing the things I'm doing and more time doing the things that I like.
Perfect. And so I'm watching this today. I'm an accountant or a bookkeeper, and I want to have a little play with your software. Do you have a trial version that I can try?
Yes, we have a trial version, so they can sign up on getmighty.com. So there's an accounting portal. We are also doing some special offers, so we will be announcing some special offers soon on the website for the accountant, and we will email all the people on the webinar the special offer that we've got for them.
Fantastic. What future developments do you see for AI with bookkeeping and accountants in mind? And how do you plan to stay at the forefront of these advancements?
So the next part we're working on now is to do automatic reconciliation. So basically, we get the bank feed, or we get the Excel spreadsheet uploaded into the system, and then we get the system to match the invoice with the expenses receipts or with the sales invoices. And it will do that automatically. And then only things that's too complicated for the system to understand, then it will actually spit it out and say, look, I don't quite understand what this is, But generally speaking, the system will understand everything and just reconcile all of it and just make sure that everything goes into the right account. And this is what we're trying to introduce at the moment, to make sure that, the bookkeeping job is so easy. So you can actually just leave it all to the system and just check it. Obviously, systems are not perfect. Every system's got their own system problem. Just check it and making sure that it's okay.
No, perfect. Martin's not come up with a question. Martin said, I am using my tea already. I have a number of sole trader clients and using the app. I highly recommend giving it a try. So Martin, if you're up for this, then I've got a question for you. Are you using another bookkeeping package for your bigger clients, or are you a sole mighty practice? Because that's interesting. And also, how did you find out about it? Because that'd be interesting to know. While you're deciding whether or not you want to answer that, that's absolutely fine. I just want to. I've got a question for you now, Umesh, that you weren't expecting. What question haven't I asked?
I asked ChatGPT that question. What question would be good for people to ask at the webinar about tax? And I think the question was about, should we be worried about our job? And I think we started with that question, and I think we'll probably end with that question, which is kind of similar thing, is should we be worried with our job? And I think the answer should be a plain no. And I think if we are very much in tune with the system, people will end up using the system more and more. I know a lot of people are using Bard, ChatGPT, but the feedback I'm getting, I haven't used Bard myself yet because there's a waiting list. But with ChatGPT, I'm very happy with it. And I will try Bard as well and probably give an opinion on it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? As I said earlier, I've been working with accountants for 16 years. And I've had conversations with some of our older accountants who were there at the forefront of computers.
Yeah.
And I was having a great chat with one guy ages ago now. And he was telling me how they got their first computer. They were the first accountants in town to get a computer. And we were just chatting about how much the computer was. And, I think he said like £4,000. Well, back then, what would 4,000 have bought? And basically, we equated it to a family car.
Yeah.
So, a family car is about £20,000 now. Could you imagine buying a computer for 20 grand today? Okay. And back then it just did, regular, sums. There was no accounting software.
No.
And these accountants that went into that were thinking, right, I can do this and I can do that. And they actually wrote the first software packages for accounting and tax and all those sorts of things. And some of those accountants ended up starting, I don't know, things like Sage and what have you. But back then, I am sure people said, we've got computers coming, we're all going to lose our jobs. And what's happened is people have gone into computers as a job.
Yeah.
So there's people that have to sell computers, make computers, fix computers, build the software, test the software, and when I've worked for these accounting for these software companies, the staff is absolutely, there's loads of staff. You've got one person talking to the client, but in the background you've got developers, you've got testers, you've got admin staff. There's all kinds of other industries that this does. Yeah. So although we're sort of like thinking, oh, AI is going to do this, we need someone to build the AI. We need someone to drive the AI. We need someone to, and all the other things that are associated with. So all it's doing is changing the landscape. Here I am, a trainer for LinkedIn. Now, that job didn't even exist when I left school because we didn't have computers. We didn't have social media. And so I think what will end up happening is we'll do different jobs. And we're not going to do the boring, horrible jobs. You take farming. Many years ago, there was loads of people working on the land, literally cutting the straw, turning it over every day. And now we've got combine harvesters.
Yeah.
All right. And that means those people can go and do other things. Yeah. And I think that's the answer with whether or not it's going to take jobs. Martin's just come back. He's using Xero. He's using QuickBooks. So he's using the best tools for each individual client. Okay. You can see I've got two different guitars on the wall. One's electric, one's acoustic. And I don't play them. I play them at different gigs because each one has got its own place. And so what Martin is saying, he uses Mighty for these clients, QuickBooks for those clients, and Xero for those clients.
Exactly, and that is what we want. We don't want to say no, move all your clients from Xero to QuickBooks to Mighty, because this is not going to work for us or for them, right? So we want something that would work for them, and certain amount of clients would work with Mighty, others would work with Xero and QuickBooks.
And I'm guessing, so Martin said it's ideal for smaller clients, and he found out about it by talking to you. So my question then, okay, is I guess it's going to be a little bit more affordable than some of the bigger packages that are out there.
Yes, because we're starting price is £5 a month, and then the highest we go is £30 a month. So I think QuickBooks standard one is about £30 a month anyway. So we kind of very competitive on that sense.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm using Xero. I'm probably just scratching the surface of that product.
Yeah.
And so therefore I need to speak to my accountant and get them to switch to Mighty, don't I?
Well, everyone should think to the accountant, and all the accountants should try to get their clients on Mighty. I think the smaller one would really benefit from them, and will save them a lot of time as well. So these are the clients that are low revenue and high maintenance, because you have to do a lot of work for a sole trader, right? Because you have to do their receipts and everything else, and these software will allow you to do that without the extra cost of having to get a DEX or some other system to do it.
So you're calling me high maintenance? That's absolutely fine. I don't mind. If anybody's got any other questions, we'll take those from the floor. But it's been really interesting finding out about Mighty today and AI. Any lasting words that you want to send out to people who are listening?
Yes, the accountant will send them an email with the opportunity for them to sign up as an accountant. Use our tax GPT, try it out with various things and see how it works. Use our Mighty Chat as well. It's similar to Chat GPT, but it's only focusing on accountants. So only focusing on bookkeeping and finance. So, so a lot of it is restricted because we don't want to kind of expand the entire system. But, use Chat GPT as well, because Chat GPT is a very good tool for you to use for your letters, for your business plan, for anything that you want to do. Anything that you don't know what to do, just ask, because this is a system that you will try and find out that things that you never thought of. I had a parking fine the other day and I put it onto ChatGPT. I said, answer this parking fine for me. And he just does it, and it's just like, wow, it saved me probably half an hour of writing a letter, complaining and mentioning it, or, so it's time saver. That's the entire thing.
No, absolutely. And so my questions today were all based on ChatGPT, and the prompt I used this morning was, I'm interviewing a guy who's built a bookkeeping package to help small business owners and accountants and bookkeepers do their bookkeeping. It uses AI. Can you come up with some questions that I can ask him about his product and also about AI? The audience are mainly accountants and bookkeepers who may not know about AI and will be using desktop-based bookkeeping software and even manual ledgers. And it came up with all of those questions today for me. So it makes my job an awful lot easier. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you to
Thank you.
everybody who's watching today. And how do people get hold of you, Umesh?
So yeah, so getmighty.com. My email address is umesh@getmighty.com. I will send everyone an email who's been here today and those who signed up as well. So yeah, thanking them. I'll get ChatGPT to write it for me, and I'll send everyone an email from ChatGPT to them all to thank them for being online with us today.
Fantastic. Just one little word of warning, because I obviously teach LinkedIn. If you're going to write posts using ChatGPT, make sure you personalize it, because
no, I don't do that.
People want the personal thing. So anyway, Umesh, thank you very much indeed. Thank you to everybody for all of your comments and your questions. And yeah, thank you very much, Umesh.
Bye, everyone.